Okay, in this video we're going to start going over a couple of the instruments, the Latin percussion instruments that are showing up more and more frequently in band literature these days as composers continue to integrate sounds from around the world in their writing. So we'll talk about a couple of the main ones here in a series of a couple of videos. The first thing we'll start off with is the claves. Clave in Spanish means key. Claves are blocks of wood or fiberglass, typically a hardwood like rosewood, that play the basic, what the pattern in Afro-Cuban music is called clave. It's the key pattern that holds all the other rhythmic parts together. Of course, composers in band and orchestra literature are going to adopt the sound of the instrument but write their own rhythms for it. There are two main types of claves. One is called an African clave. So it's a little, the one that you hold is a little larger, has a cutout here so that it resonates. You hit it with a beater like this. It has a darker, deeper sound. So what you're going to do as you play the instrument is you're going to cup your hand and then place the resonating chamber over that cup, and now you have a much larger resonating chamber. And then you'll strike it here. Right, so it's high pitched, but it's still fairly deep and rich. That's the African clave. If you play Cuban claves, these are, again, usually going to be solid hardwood like rosewood or something like that. Now, the technique for playing these, you're actually going to make a closed fist with your fingertips facing, or with your fingernails facing the ceiling, and then the lower pitch, claves usually come pitched. Right, so they're two different pitches. This is fairly typical of paired instruments throughout the world. You're going to put the lower pitched one in your closed fist, so you're not going to hold the instrument. You're going to let it rest there so that it will resonate, and then again you'll strike with the other implement. Right, so you can hear the difference if I hold it and dampen it. You don't get as much sound, right? So you want that clave to sit right on your hand so that it can resonate, and then your hand keeps it from falling off. Okay. Another very typical instrument, the guiro. You'll see G-U-I-R-O. It's not guiro. There's not a hard G. It's a soft G, guiro. Right. So these would originally have been gourds with perforations cut out of them. Of course, this is a modern plastic analog. You'll use a thin stick, usually something like a keyboard mallet turned upside down will be sufficient. Drumsticks typically are too thick. And a couple of different ways to do this. One is that you can hold the instrument sort of parallel to your belly button and scrape back and forth. I'm turning it up like this so you can see the motion. Or if you ever watch a player play guiro like in a salsa band or something, they hold the instrument upright and then scrape back and forth. So you can play longer notes and shorter notes. Right, same thing if you do this. All right, so that's the guiro. Last instrument in this video, cowbells. There is an incredibly wide variety of sizes and sounds of cowbells, but they all sort of have a couple of basic features in common. They'll be made out of metal. They'll have a closed end at the back, which on modern cowbells usually has some sort of mounting bracket so that you can put it on a cymbal stand or something if you need to. And then the open part, what we call the mouth. So what you're going to typically do if the cowbell's not mounted is you're going to hold it in your open hand with your index finger underneath. We're going to use that index finger to mute notes if we need to. Fairly atypical to play this instrument with like a xylo mallet, but it makes noise. It'll do its job. Much more typical to play the instrument with a snare drum stick. And depending on how much sound you need, you can turn the stick over and use the butt end of the stick that's much thicker. If you want something thinner, then you can use the tip of the stick. So the two ways that you will typically play a cowbell is either on the face, which is what we call on the face, which is the flat part, or on the mouth, which is the richer tone. So you're going to take the shoulder of the stick and strike across the mouth of the instrument. If you need to mute any notes, that's what your index finger is for. So I'll do a mouth tone here. And then if I mute, I can actually make the note shorter, right? And of course, this will work a little bit better on a larger instrument. So you can see my index finger muting and unmuting there. Again, come in a wide variety of sizes, sounds, construction materials, etc. But that's the basics of playing the cowbell. All right, we'll come back in a second with another video.